And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to week number 1 here for the CCL. Of course, joined now is going to be proper with me, and my name is Visions. We're getting ready to jump in towards the last match of the night here. I think an interesting one, as we have University of Northern Iowa up against University of Iowa. So not only is this going to be a Midwest clash in this division, it's also going to be a little bit of a clash between both of these teams to see who truly is the best team coming out of Iowa here for week number 1.
Yeah, the Battle of Iowa, and me and Schiff are already trying to play around. Like, what would that actually mean? You got Panther Esports representing Northern Iowa, and then you also have the Hawkeyes for Iowa University. Whether they're battling for corn or the premises of which would be the better predator, I'm not entirely sure. But Northern Iowa, you can take a look at your screen. The representatives are going to be Dorno, Stunner, Splinksta. That's going to be a difficult one to say. Spalshi and Mello.
Yeah, exciting coming through there for the Northern squad. And I think 3 of these members are actually trying to teach a lot of these players coming through from this roster here. There was something noted just a couple months ago, 5 of the 8 players have never actually touched competitive Call of Duty before. So it's really been Stunner, Dono, and Slinksta that are actually trying to teach and get all of these players on the same page so that they can be up to par with the rest of the schools here for all these divisions.
That's right. You can go ahead and take a look at Iowa, the University of the State. Going to be represented by Fernaldo, Lion, Z-Man, Sleaze, and Franchise. And, if you were able to catch them in season number 1, they placed 17th to 20th. They were 5th in the Midwest Division. Their overall record was not positive at 10-13, and they were unable to make it into the playoffs. However, you do have some returning members of that squad in Lion and Omi looking to pick up the scraps from their first season.
That's right. Some of these returning players to see if they can kind of fix some of the problems that might have been happening in that last season now, where I think things are starting to get a little bit more competitive. So I always like to see that first week, for as far as who's kind of shining with the practice, and maybe have taken the time for as far as preparation coming in towards the games. But, even more, as we go through the weeks to come, it'll be very interesting to see, who's going to be developed and who's going to be able to kind of make those changes throughout these weeks coming through for us, and who's really putting in the time to grind and fix some of these problems. I think the best thing about being showcased on stream is for the teams that don't always have someone that's able to kind of watch their mini map and kind of watch from a codcaster point of view. You kind of really get to dissect and kind of figure out where things are going wrong for you for as far as at least getting to see the broadcast. So it's going to be very exciting to see at least who will be coming out on top for us in our last match of the night.
And it's so hard to tell. I mean, last match, both me and Schiff tried to go ahead and throw a few scrimbucks around. I mean, ASU were coming in, may seem the local favorite, but Texas Dallas coming around and winning that in a convincing 3-0 as the scoreline may seem. We're going to have to see how both the Northern Iowa and Iowa University look to fare out. Hawkeyes and Panthers galore. All players are set inside the lobby, and we are getting prepared for the hard point to start off this last series of the night.
That's right. And hopefully get a second to kind of take a look at our maps. But as I say that, I think we're actually getting ready to jump in towards our maps here to see what is going to unfold for us. So it should be interesting to see what our first map is here lined up going in towards our hard point. Of course, it will be a best of 5. And if you guys are just tuning in now, it is going to be University of Northern Iowa up against University of Iowa here. So again, both of these teams trying to show who is more superior coming out of this state here for us, as we should just be a few short seconds before we actually get ready to jump in towards our game here, as it is going to load up here, and looks like map number 1, Gunrunner hard points, as we'll see how things break off.
It's going to go ahead and be a little bit of a good split coming through. You see Iowa starting off on the left side of the map. It's going to start trying to push on through. However, Northern Iowa did take the Covenant room inside the boiler area. Not going to be able to turn it around. You see Lion and Sleaze able to answer back after Z-Man went down, taking these kills, and they're going to try to turn it into map control. So one player is going to start dedicating themselves towards P1. So no player is able to get on there. It's going to be Northern Iowa putting themselves on the board first.
That's right. They're collecting the time. You can see this member trying to go for the flip, but not able to actually find any kind of success. I like the strategy, trying to go for the initial push through crates. It's just so hard to flip these spawns. They do have another attempt at it, as they are now going to be locking down some of these points and should be able to take the lead, as the scrap time most likely will be given away at some point in time to make sure that they lock down and secure the rotation towards that next hill. Fighting in bathrooms is going to be one. Slinksta now on your screen, blocking down that hard left push through just in case someone might slip in. But only 15 seconds left. This should all go over, and we're going to see a small lead for Iowa, but Northern Iowa just need to lock down this next hill setup.
Splashy doing a good job with their MP5, able to turn around a couple of these kills over towards the coal mine area. And these trades coming back and forth. This is heavily in the favor for Northern Iowa. Points regardless. You see them already setting up inside the munition depot. It's going to be really hard to break through now for Iowa. Already losing a few members. And Sleece helping out to the cause for the TK onto Lion. They're going to probably have to regroup, find themselves a couple entry frags, and then work their way in. However, those few kills that they did find could be the openings that they need. But you see Dorno holding off on this angle, is able to cover a multitude of entryways. Going to have to turn it around and being able to clean out multiple members, hitting from multiple angles. And a good clean wipe coming through from Iowa. They're going to start getting control of this hardpoint.
Oh, beautifully done here for this team, able to break the hill. Also a very difficult hill to break due to how those spawns worked so very close, having to slay through multiple rotations of kills, but they managed to get it done, and now that's going to give them a little bit of a lead, a little bit of cushion heading in towards our next hill, as we're starting to see that rotation already break through on stream here for you. Mello trying to hold this angle, waiting for someone to rotate through the forest. Might be able to land those shots. He does, and he's going to be able to find the first one. His teammates have started to fall around him, but Slinksta is also holding down this long line of sight. The AR is at least holding this map control, as they're now going to have the favorable spawn, and Northern Iowa now collecting points, trying to tie things up.
Yeah, I do have a lot of respect for how Northern Iowa has been playing this so far. They're not overcommitting to try to get any of that scrap time. They're now committing just to setup, as Slinksta putting themselves on the map 3 straight here, as they're holding on the top of the coal mines, trying to make that 4. Has to go for the reload, but this is still points being gained regardless of Northern Iowa. They are now taking the lead with 3 players on. Lion and Fernaldo trying to break this open. Fernaldo with 2. That's going to go ahead and be a point clean and wipe. However, Mello on this off angle has been living up here, and although there's a player on Iowa, the spawns and numbers could still be favoring Northern Iowa.
That's right. Still favored in them for now. We got a pretty tight game number 1 here for us between both of these squads. And now that is the next hill going to be at least in control for the moment of Northern Iowa. But looks like that one member just waltzed on in there. Z-Man and Fernando able to get a little bit of work done here. And now they're going to be trying to have to break this again, as Stunner's holding on to that hill time. Has been broken there by Franchise. And now it's going to be Iowa back in control. They're going to take that lead and keep it. Another double actually going to come through from Lion as he's locking things down. Z-Man doing work on the other side. We're going to see maybe a trade, but that's massive for Stunner. He breaks on in, and that is going to give them the opportunity they need to now retake the lead for themselves.
That's Z-Man trying to get these entry frags with the MP5, trying to keep these kills in their favor. We are down here to scrap time. So far on P4, no team really gaining massive headway. It's going to be given up, however. We've been seeing from Northern Iowa, they've been favoring the commitment to the early rotation to be setting up P5. It is wisely paying off as well. The Hawkeyes able to get a few kills coming through. Franchise with a good kill there. They start peeking on the backside of this warehouse, and that's going to be opening this wide open.
That was a massive double. Unfortunately, wasn't able to find the third, but it did buy time for a few of his team members to be able to actually close the distance here. Now you can see a lot of yellow arrows coming through the back of the building. A lot of fighting happening in the front. Double, though, comes through for Dono, as he's just going to shut down the push, and that's going to leave a couple of these yellow members stranded, but they have broken in towards the hill. Now these kills so very crucial. A good amount of time still left in this hill to be picked up, but the shots from Splashy there on your screen finds that last member that was in the hill, and now you got to be kind of cutting your losses if you are Iowa here, thinking about setting up for the next hill that is going to break through here for you. The reset of all of the hills, going back to the start around the middle and making sure that you actually lock down the favorable spawns going in towards that second one. But we're going to see probably the biggest lead we've seen here from Northern Iowa commence in this hill.
They're going to have to commit really hard too. This triple M4 setup isn't the greatest at breaking entryways. However, they can end up holding longer sightlines. Mid-reload, Stunner gonna go ahead and slide in, finds Mello. Or finds Fernaldo, excuse me. And these trades still coming back and forth. And again, we're seeing this over and over again. The team that commits to the rotation towards the next hard point it's so hard to break them through, especially like a map here on gun runner visions, and doing just that, making me eat my words, kills coming through in favor for Northern Iowa. They're gonna have to turn this into point time because the Hawkeyes are still committing a player off of spawn just to get this point going higher and higher. But there it goes again, down to the scrap time. Northern Iowa are gonna think twice, and they're just gonna go ahead and back themselves off into the munitions depot and be prepared.
Yeah, and you can kind of see how split they are across the map. You saw that member just push through crates, another member all alone through crates, and they have two members on the other side of the map right now. Just a split kind of focus, and teamwork, coordinated push isn't really so much within the works right now for Iowa here. But they have grabbed the majority of that scrap time, which means that it is going to be just about an even game. The last time we did see this hill, it was broken, and only about 30 points going over towards each team. Now again, flooding through the left is going to be a lot of kills going down, but in control is going to be Northern Iowa. The spawns are close, and all of these yellow arrows still struggling to even get past mid-map at the moment.
Gotta start throwing bodies on here just to try to get some kills, but this is just munitions depot. It's so easy to flip this into a full 60 when you are playing like Northern Iowa, so we can get the setup and all the angles being held. It just comes down to these entry frags actually turning into a full push. Mellow now coming through. Ran out of ammo in their M4, but the pistol is still able to kill off Sleaze. Will go down themselves, and now the hardpoint being contested by multiple members. Those shots are good from Slinksta, is able to keep it in control for Northern Iowa.
That's right. They hold the majority of this hill. They've probably at least got about 45 seconds, if not more, I would say. We're seeing Z-Man try to hold that cut going in towards the next one. He's not able to be successful in either one of those kills, but his teammate certainly is. Lion picks up a double as they're going to push back out in towards Cole here. A few purple members on your screen now trying to make their way in with some stuns and nades. Lion's going to get naded out, has went down. Franchise now walking up the middle, holding that cut there again. These smokes crucial right now for Northern Iowa. We have seen at least great control for Iowa here at the moment, holding a little bit of that time. But as I say that, Northern Iowa walks right back in, and they're going to pop a double, break in, get the points, and now we're going to be right back in that same situation here.
Got Z-Man dropping their MP5 for a moment's time. We'll pick it back up. It's just so needed. You cannot just give up trying to break through into the hard points, especially when you see Northern Iowa setting up shop from their early rotations into the next hard point. So now you have the Hawkeyes going back to what is necessary and trying to find some entry frags so that way their ARs can get set up. So another rotation comes through. We'll be flipping hard points as we are just down to 4 seconds with MP3. Soon enough, in between the containers area, to no surprise, Northern Iowa are all there already.
Yeah, they've been doing a great job so far in the hard point. Especially coming back after that first little blip in that first couple of hills, but now certainly able to gain control. We'll be able to get that 200-point mark. They're going to need another hill before they end up securing this game, but they have just been locking down the majority of it. But Z-Man has walked in with his teammate, and now it's going to be 3 in the feed. So a lot of members down right now for Northern Iowa, but Splashy's getting work done all alone, grabs a double. Franchise now looking to back his team up with the reinforcements, and this might be good for the majority of this hill, and this would certainly tie the game up in this game number 1. We're seeing a lot of yellow start to flood in towards the peak here for us, but we know how crucial this next hill is. This rotation gunfight that's about to break out there, so very important, and we can see all the yellow arrows now backing up. This looks like it's going to be Iowa in control of this next hill.
That's so important for Slinks to able to come around. Was able to find Z-Man, the lone member, trying to set up for P5. That's able to turn that back around in the favor. Now Northern Iowa, a little bit on the back burner, gonna have to be careful because Iowa now being able to set up shop here right next to the boxes. This is going to allow Lion to hold this angle almost with ease. Splashy then comes through, starts throwing in the tacticals. Not going to be able to find any sort of conversion. Trophy system's down, so that throw's not going to mean anything. But here comes Z-Man. The thorn in the side again. These entry frags up close and personal just allows for the Hawkeyes to stay set up endlessly. They are now in the lead as 30 seconds is left in this hard point. Northern Iowa finally breaking on in that stunner with their MP5. Is able to turn this back into Northern Iowa's favor.
Holy Stunner and Mellow literally just saved the game, breaking this setup here. It should have been so easy to hold. They are still fighting over the scrap time here, so it looks like they're going to get it. Franchise ends up taking down his teammate, but manages to take Stunner with them. There is still a member, though, that's contesting the hill, so no one is collecting anything at this point in time, and they're going to go back for Franchise. So we're going to net them about 5 points here. And, well, this is pretty much a dead-even game on our hands right now, Proper. So back and forth, and in all of these rotations so far. And now we're going to see Z-Man waltz on through, grabs a triple as he looks to lock down this very open and exposed hill.
That was so necessary because Franchise couldn't end up turning in that contest to a kill to be behind the enemy team. That allows them being spawned all the way out, able to push back through containers and set up shop over here in P1. Lion, however, has to take the reload here on the M4. It's going to end up getting gunned down. In this close matchup for Northern Iowa, these trades are starting to go in their favor. The control of the hardpoint Franchise with the knife kill on the stunner is going to be able to remain in control for a moment's time. Mello pushing through from the bathrooms will go down as well. Z-Man turning this round, having a heck of a game thus far, but it's all point control still going towards Northern Iowa as the Hawkeyes still remain in the lead.
Iowa only needs 5 points. They can still look to get it, but somehow Northern Iowa is preventing them from getting in the hill. This is only going to be a few seconds. They hold on, they defend, and they got the rotation and the setup for the next one. And now the pressure's on Iowa to get themselves in the hill with the kills from Splashy and Slinks in the middle of the map. That is 5 down. I don't think anyone's getting close to the hill. Somehow, some way, Northern Iowa hold on to that last hill, prevent any points from going through, and they're going to come out in map number 1 just by 4 points.
Every single time we went over to the gun munitions, there was always one, if not multiple members from Panther Esports Northern Iowa doing a fantastic job committing to the rotation into the hill before it flips over. And that was just the make or break situation. The Hawkeyes heavily in the lead just to begin with. It then got turned around by an early adaptation from the Panther Esports Club in Northern Iowa. Fantastic stuff from them. Able to play along with their sightlines, and not to mention how Stunner, as well as Splashy, were able to find 2, if not 3, every single rotation and holding all of those angles, turning that into a long-lasting P2 hold through every single rotation.
Yeah, what a crazy game number 1, because it's just that. It's just game number 1 in the best of 5 that we have on our hands here. And it's got to make us wonder, what the future maps are really going to look like. But if there was one thing I think that we can kind of take away, we know while we have time in between maps to really break down, as close as that game really was, it almost looked like in a few of those hills, the University of Iowa very split in the way that they approach breaking spawns, breaking actual setups here on the map. It wasn't very traditional, with, trying to pair up, buddy up, and then trying to flood in towards the back here and just fight through that way. It was a little bit of a different approach. We saw them get caught out multiple times, but on the flip side of that, while playing it completely scattered on the map, it almost kind of worked in a few of those situations, because we saw, those pinch plays or a few of those flanks that kind of made the difference in a lot of those hills. And it's just crazy that it was only 4 points separating them, somehow able to fend them off from getting, 5 points in that hill when there was, I believe, about 20 points available for the taking.
That's what's crazy about Gunrunner and how it works is specifically with Hardpoint. So close, just 4 points in between our 2 Iowa squads in this Midwest Division matchup, playing for all the corn and I suppose all of the gusto of being the best Predator. And well, at one point here, Visions, we ended up looking at for Iowa University, they were at a quad M4 setup. Right. And when you end up down those MP5s, you saw how quickly that was able to go in the favor for Northern Iowa, breaching in every single time, catching multiple members of Iowa University off guard in those close range engagements. That the moment that we ended up seeing Z-Man end up swapping back over to the MP5 was when they really started to find a lot of footing. You just need a little something like that, especially heading into Hackney Yard S&D, without having that MP5 break-in to turn those frags into a map advantage as far as positioning is concerned. It's going to be really easy for the team that has the ladder to turn that into their own victory.
That's right. And, going in towards this Hackney Yard, you just said it, the submachine guns, it was so very crucial because almost all the action, happens close quarters on a map like Hackney Yard, of course. And, the specific bomb site that's favored within Warehouse is also all close quarters. And that's where a lot of the action's going down. I think something that we've also seen, a lot of teams actually kind of opt in for is running trophies on a map like Hackney Yard and actually swapping up the dead silence due to all the projectiles and nades that are being thrown. And, that's kind of the only real tools that you kind of have available to you in some cases on a map like that when you're on defense, just purely because you can only peek that Warehouse bomb site either from that top L or bottom L, or you make a flank approach or come through the window from middle. So your options are really limited. So I wonder if that's going to be something that these players actually think about and put on before we get ready to jump into this match.
Yeah, and well, all the players are in the lobby. The match will be starting soon, but just as a more of a theory craft too, I mean, the difference in between dead silence and for the trophy system, like you were already talking about, Visions, he who gets there first with the trophy system onto that Covenant bomb site, it can be really devastating. And you can shut down a lot of set grenades. But the dead silence pushing all the way through the office side, not exactly the favored position. You could then get in the enemy's head come maybe round 5, round 6 to make them always guessing that could we be hard pushed all the way through from tires. And then it comes down to that isolated 1v1 for the defense to win, to stop that flank from happening. And then at that point, you start to commit more players on the defense, expecting another player with dead silence that then you could pull out a little bit, something more of a cheeky push from the defensive side. Only time will tell to see how we're going to end up playing this out. We end up having Northern Iowa on offense. Stunner with the bomb finds himself a little bit of a tag there with the grenade with a full kill, and met by the mask immediately. Can't be jumping through that window in L anytime soon, but Lion with the first kill in the round finds Dorno.
That's right, able to take down one. Now will be a 4v4 on the map here with about a minute 30. Bomb still has not been planted just yet, but aggressive plays are being made, as you just saw Lion light up another one as he takes his second down in the very first round. Finally, we're going to see that bomb be planted, put a little bit of pressure on Iowa here to waltz on in, but Slinksta and Splashy both grab themselves one, and now it's all up to Franchise and his teammate to try and get this big gunfight top L. He wins it, and now we got ourselves a 2v2.
Splashy again, always showing up in the kill feed one way or another, but this 1v2 here from Stunner, who is holding the bomb, is planted. The drop comes through. The sound cue is there. The other players in top L. Franchise wins that with a bullet to the dome on the Stunner. Going to be able to turn this around. Gets 2 kills in this first round and the defuse. Now Franchise going to be looking towards the sky. A couple bullets in the air. Iowa taking the first round.
Yeah, I think that was really smart. No doubling up here, finishing out this last kill. Got a little bit close here. Franchise, though, able
Pretty
to land
shaky.
these couple shots. Yeah, it was, on that head glitch. It almost went through, and would have been a massive clutch in that very first round here. But the first offense doesn't go the way of Northern Iowa. Now they have the chance to strike back here on the defensive round. We'll see exactly what Iowa chooses to do off their initial start on their first defense, as I imagine it probably will be over towards that A site. But we have seen sometimes once that dead silence is kind of locked in and loaded in that first round, makes them aggressive smoke plays through middle, but already right away, Z-Man and Franchise, they both grab themselves one apiece, and now this gives them a very big man advantage around this bomb site.
Franchise and Z-Man especially, I already talked about those entry frags, able to turn that around. However, Lion going down, a very promising AR shot. Z-Man is right there to clean up Splashy, taking a big gun out of the way for Northern Iowa, making this an immediate 2v2. Franchise and Fernando versus Mello. As Slinksta goes down, Mello peeking top L, able to get the 1 kill onto Franchise, but Fernando playing here, going to be waiting for any sort of sound cue or a peek to come through. Now pushing through towards the mid side. It's going to start committing all the way around towards the balcony. Is Fernando aware? It doesn't seem so. Ends up getting a little bit too shaky, unfortunately. Fernando looking in the wrong direction. Mel able to clean that fight up with ease. Has the dead silence pop too, so it was no sound cue able to come there, and that was just well-timed of resource usage from Northern Iowa.
Yeah, and you got to kind of wonder, not just playing that close quarter right here. He plays this close quarter left, he doesn't get seen. He's able to play the time and go for a flank. He also, wasn't checking the bomb, so it's not like, he was just waiting for him to jump on it. He could have waited maybe just a little bit longer, played that corner, but either way, that is nitpicking, and it is going to tie things up at the very least here for us. But a big clutch, at least from the man that did come through there for Franchise. And now we'll see as the same approach most likely going to come through over towards A. And now I believe there was also a trophy system available for that man on that last play for us. So he will be able to drop that if he so wishes. Fight bottom L is going to go the way of Stunner as he grabs his team first blood here. The doors are shut. They have themselves a big man advantage here now as lots of kills have just went down. And, well, this is going to open up for a bomb going down for free.
Yeah, Lion did peek the window, but then immediately dropped down, got gunned down. Very quick round there from Northern Iowa, able to turn this into a 1-point lead. Good job as well, just recognizing the rotations and being able to punish the pushes when necessary. Probably reading in the scout. Very pristine so far for Northern Iowa, knowing that when you get a kill here, it means they could rotate through there. And Northern Iowa looking pretty strong nevertheless. Mello, 5-1. It's having themselves a little bit of a game here so far, Visions. Fernando yet to get a kill within this lobby with their MP5. Good angle being held there from the AR player of the Hawkeyes, but the smokestack so hard to deal with a member up there when you're already shooting at one inside the office. Slingsta and Mello going off in the kill feed, joined by Splashy. Now it's just the lone survivor here for Naldo with the bomb. Tall order to ask in a 1v4.
Yeah, he's like, team, where'd you go? What's going on here, guys? But minute 30, dead silence. He is actually going to invest the dead silence. I think that's a little bit interesting. So he is not really going to get the best use out of it. Does at least draw some attention over towards the wall, and that you know where he is, but he's still got a lot to work through. They spot him out now, and now he has no longer the dead silence. But this member challenges. That was a little bit over aggressive. Pays for it with his life. Now he's got about a 1v3 minute. 05 on the clock. He's certainly got lots of time to work with. Members about to see him up top. Does not those initial shots in Northern Iowa. Well, they're starting to get themselves into a little bit of a groove as they go up by a couple rounds.
Oh, they're definitely heating up here. It was a really good angle held by Stunner. Did find the first kill in this round. Regardless, we turn things around with their MP5, just pushing the rotations. Once the communication comes through from Northern Iowa, you can see it on your screen through the rotations all the way back on hardpoint is coming through here on S&D. Mello now, so +5. 6 and 1. Doing a real good job at finding these mid-fight kills. So no surprise, going to be a hard hit over to A, but going to have a player committing through mid and one inside the office. Sleaze does go down after Lion finds the first blood in the lobby. That's Stunner. But Splash is still holding the bomb. Could end up committing here towards the bomb site. Is going to be well met by Iowa, but losing that gunfight, absolutely massive numbers advantage, was in the favor for Northern Iowa. The bomb seems to be committed down towards the bomb site as the remaining two members are starting to work their way past the phone booth and Yellow.
Does he, man? He goes in and he does find a kill on that member. They are looking to get this bomb down or try to break in through the bomb being planted, but they just instantly are going to get pounced on, holding all the angles as they try to go in. And just nice pickup, man, on your screen. Splashy finishes off the last one here. And now you're in a bit of a tough spot if you are the University of Iowa right now. You're down 4-1 on a map like Hackney Yard where it's extremely fast-paced, and you're starting to lose a lot of map control. The tempo is not playing in their favor, and you got to wonder what they have in response here, because you go down 5-1 in this map number 2, and you just almost got to give credit to Northern Iowa for closing out the second map.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the flexibility as far as weapons are concerned. I mean, Splashy was putting on a show with their MP5 there on our opening hardpoint. Now opting in for the stockless M4. Both Splashy and Mello going down. Lion been working this angle hard all game long, offense and defense. Franchise there soon to make this a good 6v3. The numbers advantage heavily going to get diminished, and a Stunner with a 2-piece will go down. But the map advantage in the terrain taken. Northern Iowa just marching forward, leaves Lion as the lone survivor in bottom L. Will be dropped on by Dorno to get a 2-piece to end out the lobby plus the defuse.
Oh, look at it right now. Dorno's sitting 8 and 3. He's getting himself the defuse now. And that is going to put them up 5-1. So the scenario that I was just talking about is now a reality, and University of Iowa have not really found any kind of response. I feel like that's got to be like 4 rounds straight right now for this squad, if not 5, as they have just put on an absolute clinic in the search and destroy on Hackney Yard. And you got to see something for the side of Iowa. You go down 0-2 in the series, heading in towards that capture the flag, and things do look a little bit grim here for you. But we'll see what their response is in what could be their elimination round for map number 2. The approach is certainly going to be the same for Northern Iowa, and why not? If it's not broke, you don't fix it. And they're going to invest a lot more members this time around to this bomb site, but they've already lost Z-Man.
They had the initial numbers advantage. You see there was a member from Northern Iowa pushing through the office side, is now going to be dropping down, will be met by Lion. Is actually able to get up that kill as well. Mello able to find Lion, but the damage already done, making this an even 3v3 thus far, Visions. And while it's all comes down to how the defense want to be able to attack this, the bomb still has 30 seconds before it explodes. And with that kill, finding one more member on the bomb site just remains for Splashy, holding that off. There's another player just waiting on the outside, just looking into the mid.
Yeah, with only 18 seconds left to work with, members to his left. He's got an AR here. It's going to be a little bit difficult in 10 seconds. Now he's got to hop on the bomb. Does not see that member. He's Rounded. He's taking shots from all different elevations, and a closeout for Northern Iowa is going to be a 6-1. And this one looked a lot more convincing from that last one. So you just got to kind of wonder, what the mental state is right now for the side of University of Iowa. Just barely falling short in that last game. Literally could have went either way. You got to just wonder, how their vibes are, how the energy levels are within the comms, because you got to go in towards this next map in CTF and somehow try and climb yourself back in towards the series.
Got to be having those constant vibe checks and comms. Got to be making sure everybody's going to be doing well. Get your snacks, get your water. You got to make sure that you can walk into each map with a clean slate. Not allow that pressure to get to you, especially with the first match of the season. You and Shift talked about it in the first game here tonight, is you don't really want to be starting off on a loss. Now, that goes without saying. That's probably the most four-headed comment I might make all night. Probably not. Regardless, what you have to be careful of is how you go forward with it. How do you learn from each map? How are you going to walk into the next map with these adaptations? I mean, so far, we've seen Northern Iowa convincingly holding all of these flanks and angles with their MP5s and M4s. I mean, Splashy coming into SND with the stockless M4, you would almost think it's just like an MP5, how fast you're able to flick down the sightlines with that thing. But for Iowa University, it's just not being met on those sides.
Yeah, and Splashy is one of those members that Stunna, Dono, and Slinksta had to mentor players up towards this point here within the season, for as far as training them, teaching them how competitive Call of Duty works. It is obviously significantly different from what you might be used to within just regular public matches. And well, they seem to be doing a fantastic job. Now, we're maybe not getting all the data available for us for as far as what is to come in this specific division, but it does seem like they are firing on all cylinders. They do have some of these clutch factor moments happening, and this is still the first week. Whether you're winning or not, there's just so much room to grow. And if you're already coming in with just 2 months of practice and able to transform these players into competitive COD players that they're showing for us on stream, well, then this squad could be one of those fierce competitors within this division.
Yeah, and especially with the Midwest here too. I mean, you take a look at some of the other teams that they're going to be going up against. I mean, Butler's in here. You also have Ohio State. You have a lot of different teams and a lot of different parity in between. You can only imagine. I mean, what we have on paper coming in from Black Ops 4, the farewell event, even the entry tournament into 2020 before the season started, all of that could be thrown out the window. This is still a fairly new game as far as pro play and how all these rotations angles are being played out. And there's still a lot of time to learn. So even taking this loss on first week may not be the worst. But again, it's going forward, and how you learn from all those mistakes is how you come out a champion.
That's exactly it. But we're already underway in the gun runner. A massive double opens up for Z-Man as he takes a couple members off of that flag. Is not able to get himself around that corner in time. So Stunner does response and avenge. And well, he pops a 2-piece of his own. He's going to have to get through one more. That's not going to be the nade you'll like to see, but he manages to get himself out. That member still managing to somehow stay alive here, as we're going to see Torno running a little bit of a different sight that we don't usually see. But if he's dropping the numbers he is, I'm not going to complain. Now they're going to try and make another approach over towards B, but not going to be successful. Iowa looks to take it and lock it down.
Got a little bit of a lag out situation here from Northern Iowa. It's currently a 4v5. It going to go ahead and be a reset of the lobby, perhaps. We'll find out for sure. Regardless of the matter, Z-Man coming to life with their MP5. And just to bring up the conversation again, Z-Man has been flipping back and forth in between the MP5 and the M4. I already brought it up back in Gunrunner that's what made that map extremely close, was when Z-Man was starting to meet the aggression of Northern Iowa. And I want to see more of that coming into Gunrunner domination. And it's going to be so important too, because you want to get control of that boiler room. You want to get control of bathrooms and the green warehouse. It's going to be able to set your team up for success continuously.
Yeah, and kind of just to go back to that very first CTF on Gunrunner that we did get to see, and to add to your point, was exactly that. Is in that match we didn't see enough players on the team that had lost there that was playing in that boiler room, that was using their submachine guns effectively, where you need to play your life in those situations just to purely have somebody around that area, because we saw how those pinches and those double kills that come out in a map like, a game mode like Domination can really make the difference for as far as whether or not you're locking down down 2 flags at a time, and you can have that constant change of, you know, running right through and capping the home flag and then keeping them spawned at B. There's a lot of different situations and scenarios that can kind of unravel themselves through a map like Gunrunner on a game mode like Domination here for us. So you do have to be wary of that for as far as what you are doing. I think for an update, I do think we're getting ready to get this player in towards the game here for us. So I think we are just going to maybe just take a few moments here. Just actually, as I say that, we are now back in the game. So perfect timing. And now I think we're going to get a reset of the map. I'm not sure what will come from that very first map. I think it is just a pure reset in the score. So that 2-point lead that was in favor of Iowa is no longer going to be. And now we're going to have a refresh Domination to see if it's going to be Iowa that resets and refreshes themselves.
C-Man already going down, trying to push through the dark side towards where B-Dom is currently at. Then immediately met the Hawkeyes, getting tons of kills early on. Commit 4 to the B-Dom side, and that's exactly what you need in numbers. Plus good focus fire will be able to garner B-flag capture here momentarily. I say that be fully flipped, but nevertheless, I mean, Northern Iowa doing a fantastic job at holding this for a time being, but the kill feed immediately glowing up in favor for Northern Iowa. Dorno with the 3-piece for themselves will be gunned down, and that's only going to allow the Hawkeyes to hold on to 2 flags.
That's right, trying to get that trophy system down, just not in time, but we're going to see that last member jump on the flag, and we're going to see that second flag finally capped. So that will be the side of Iowa, at least in early control for as far as accumulating points here. Splashy waiting for a gunfight here against this member, and it's going to be able to win it. Big win for him as he pushes in, and they're going to knock down a few members in that feed. Now it's Franchise trying to skirt around the corner. Does manage to find one on the slide. His team backing him up as Splashy also grabbed the double right before this kill. And now Mello looks to just hold this corner, waiting for his team to back him up. But there's already a lot of yellow members there for the protect and the defense here on B flag.
Yeah, Iowa, the Hawkeyes did get the spawns properly to deal with the player pushing through dark. And Splashy going down immediately as soon as Mello was able to hold onto the control for B. All of the reinforcements from the Hawkeyes were coming through with the ADOM site and from that warehouse. Able to commit 3 again, flipping the B-Dom flag. Now they're in firm control. No players inside the boiler room. Uncharacteristically, no players necessarily trying to jostle for that position towards the mid side, but why would you, considering that all players from Northern Iowa are still trying to commit themselves towards the B-Dom flag site? You're going to have to try a different angle, and I think that's going to go ahead and be just that, as you do have a player trying to go inside the boiler room, will be gunned down. I believe that was Dorno. And look at just this map presence visions all over the place for Northern Iowa. They try, or for Iowa University, excuse me. The Northern Iowa try to go for the AC cap, is immediately well met. They do have players towards their home flag in C, but there is a player from Iowa University in there. It will be gunned down. It was Lion.
That's right. They were gunned down. See about a 20-point lead built up for Iowa here in this map that they have to win if they're going to keep the series alive for themselves. And he is now going to be that objective for the side of Northern Iowa. But Lion already grabbed 2. His teammates are going to pick up the other 2. And now it's just going to be one member here who needs to kind of wait for the rest of the team to come off spawn. And, well, this looks like a little bit of a different team playing around this B flag. Iowa has just been doing a fantastic job of locking it down. Z-Man with some nice shots on Slingsta, able to take him out there, controlling that very important watch him area. And now Fernando on the side is able to grab himself one. And this is just looking like a fantastic job thus far. Breaking in towards his B flag is still the approach for Northern Iowa. They're just not having any success here, able to grab this 2 cap in the first side.
They need to stop committing one player pushing in at a single time. Once you have one player pushing through boiler, the second hit needs to come through from either side of the dark room. Just right where Sleaze is looking, already throws out tactical. There's no connection. The smoke is just going to get ahead and just dissipate. But you see how aggressive this allows Iowa University to be pushing through, that when they recognize that there's one player, and even if they go for the trade, it still means that the B-Dom site is going to be held in convincing fashion for Iowa University, who are now almost double the amount of points for Northern Iowa. Kills coming through here from Dorno and their MP5. This allows them to start taking space towards the carts. They don't have the backup, though. Not quite yet, but those kills ring around the rosy. Pockets full of bullets. Dorno able to turn this into a point feed secure. As long as Franchise doesn't try to turn this around themselves, finds one. Dorno able to answer back. He's able to get that flip.
Adorno right now, he is on a 5 streak, 15-9 in our very first side of domination. He's looking for another one, but Slinksta manages to take Lion down as he tries to slide on in and get control of Boiler. But now Adorno has got this on lock. His teammates watching through the middle, and this is the ideal setup. This is also the first time we've seen Northern Iowa really have a handle around this B flag here. Adorno's going to push back out. He's able to grab himself one, and with that being said, a few more drop, make that 3 total for the side of Iowa, as they're going to have to battle out of their spawn. Only about 55 seconds left and remaining in our first side. And Torno's on an 8 streak. Good look for 9 as he gets stunned up. Finally he challenges, but I don't know if you want to take it, but they finally managed to take this man down and stop him at 8.
Gonna be able to get control of that boiler room sleaze. And turn around here with the M4 and then find Splashy. Turns around and is able to turn that into a 3-run of a life. Though Dorno was right there to get the revenge. Stunner with the backup. Beat on flag site is still being controlled by Northern Iowa. Although the lead is going in the favor of the Hawkeyes, their spawns unfavorable towards a push of B anytime soon. And just as I say that, Slinksta finding franchise sends another one back. They're going to have to try to go for this 2-way hit, just like Northern Iowa were able to turn in their favor. And here we go. Lion and Z-Man, after Sleaze goes down, making Dorno and Splashy turn to the improper angle where they were getting hit by a multitude of members from the Hawkeyes, are finally going to be able to recapture on the B-Dom site right at the end of the half, are up going into the second half, 111-88.
Yeah, and what a nice response here coming through from the squad as you see the final kill cam from Torno. As he's doing things that shouldn't be allowed to be showed on stream. But either way, you know, Iowa is coming out with a lot of fire in this third map. They're not going down, you know, without a fight here for us. And you know, you love to see that kind of fight here from this group, from this team specifically, because, you know, a lot of teams go down 0-2. They go into that third map of domination. You know, they lose a bit of a lead, and then it's almost kind of lights out from there. There isn't too much of a fight. But this map, you know, they are looking to force that potential game number 4, but they have to keep up that same consistency there from the first side, though.
Those that are unaware, this is your first watching of a Call of Duty tournament. Codcaster, know it, love it, comes with its bugs. Take it at its finest and its worst. Regardless of the matter, without knowing kill streaks, you can still see the kill feed just absolutely blowing up. This time around, met by proper aggression. Stunner and Splashy turning things around. This could be a good B-Dom site being taken over, and the spawns coming through. Although Lion on this flank, finding 2, could be devastating. Is met by Mello. Man was starting to push through those coal mines side. Spoken a little bit too soon, though. Franchise, along with Sleaze, pushing on the train track side. Going to be able to turn that into a 3-kill in their favor with the help of Ronaldo. It's going to go ahead and be Iowa State, turning this into a CB hold.
Yeah, the 2-cap hold has been on fire so far. Franchise is going to find himself one. Has one close left corner, but he's going to wait patiently. Knows he can hold the angle. This member's going to have to push out. That is the smoke, so the push is going to commence. Nice shots from Splashy as he takes the first one down with the MP5, but there's still a few more he's going to have to try and fight through. He does get cut down there by Z-Man, who pushes his way in towards Boiler and tries to maintain control, but Splashy's there. Finds good shots there onto one, but is quickly traded out. And right now, I'm sure the side of Iowa is completely fine with how this approach is, but there's now 4 members stacked up for Northern Iowa, and they can look to make this push.
I like this read from Stunner. Well scouted out on the Z-Man, recognizing that the hit wasn't coming through. The other side of the office, being able to meet Z-Man on the side, though Lion is in control of this boiler room. Such a covenant location. Gonna be sliding around, turning around, is not looking in the right direction. Stunner finds the head of Lion. Now Z-Man is getting a 2-piece in the kill feed so far. His contested time is not in the favor for Northern Iowa so far. You see the kill feed just walking on forward. Splashy is trying everything within their power. It's going to take a minor reprieve just to hold on to the boiler room once the spawns come through from the rest of Northern Iowa.
That's right, and you got to almost look for an overextension. There it is. That one member is hitting through Forest. He's looking to go for that overextend to see if he might be able to get C. Another one is going to be cut down. Splashy ends up grabbing a double. This does take down a few of those yellow members, but they're desperately having some trouble getting in towards this B flag here, so they're going to try their luck at the other home flag. There's a member on C. There's actually a couple now as they're able to grab some kills around the trains and the crates. Pushing on through could be a double from Z-Man. He does. He stops the cap from going through. They're going to hold on, but while that's happening, they now have lost B, and finally in this round number 2, Northern Iowa are going to have that 2 cap.
All off of that over-aggression, Iowa. The Hawkeyes had no one to guard the home flag. The second that someone got there, got gunned down. It came down to the entire team of Iowa to turn back around to keep C flag in their favor, and that allowed Northern Iowa to take the positional advantage to take over this coal mines. And although being met by one player, Splashy and Mellow, these shots are ringing real true here in the second half thus far, Visions. This control on B needs to stay in their favor as they're still down by a good 25 points.
Yeah, there's got to be a point in time here with Northern Iowa. They got to pull the trigger. They got to try and get this 2-cap at the very least, if not 3 here very soon. Time is a ticking, and only 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. We're pretty much in that fourth quarter of domination where the window is closing. Shots go down. Mello grabs 3. He does get traded out, almost finding 4, but it's still going to be secured point right now for Iowa. Splashy has no idea where that last member is to start shooting a little bit wild, but then ends up dying. Massive lead built up at 2 minutes and 5 seconds left. This might be going to a map number 4 here, Proper.
Yeah, Splashy starting to see ghosts, perhaps. And that ghost might be their 3-0 victory, just disappearing right in front of their eyes. But Northern Iowa, they do get the kills, backing themselves up. It comes down to spawns for Iowa, as to how Iowa University will be spawned in and how they take this rotation through. Z-Man with the Semtax, able to find Splashy and Fernaldo, and finds Dorno. Those are 2 kills within the dark area. There is just one player hanging out over by the coal mines for Northern Iowa to try to hold off on this flip to the B-Dom site. Ends up turning into 1, then pushes on a little bit forward, and then the second player goes down. The reinforcements are here by Sleaze, then thinks twice about it because they're all alone.
This would have to be a perfect hold right now on this 3-cap, but by the looks of it, A looks like it might be going down. Sleaze does manage to take 1 and is going to be now on top of B, so this might be another flag going over towards the favor, and as that kill feed commences, it looks like that is enough members down for Northern Iowa here to pretty much make this just about impossible unless they can hold some kind of a 3-cap for the remainder of this. They are pressing forward, and they actually do take down 3 members here on the map, but Franchise grabs a double. Sleaze is able to take 1 off the home flag, and now that should be enough members up and alive to hold on towards the lead for map number 1. They're desperately trying to get on top of B with all these trophies. The spawns are decently close at the moment, but Sleaze is locking things down with the help of his team, and with that being said, that looks like map number 1 should be done and over. Or map number
3. Gun runner domination is definitely going to go in the favor for Iowa University. It's going to take a magic, a miracle, and maybe a few wishes from a genie in a bottle. I'm not too sure at the end of the day, but regardless, I mean, what a turnaround coming through from Iowa University here, Visions. I mean, with their MP5s in tow as well as Lion holding on to those longer sight lines with their M4, while recognizing that the boiler room was wide open and holding that when need be. That's the flexibility that you need from the leader of Iowa University, and you do love to see it forcing it into a map 4.
You really do love to see that they are putting up a bit of a fight for us in this series between both of these squads. And now we're going to get the final kill. I think Mello grabbing a 3-piece there, holding the right angle, able to get some players that lined up for him. And now we're going to see some of those kills. 30 kills there for Dorno, 25 for Splashy, 28 for Stunner. In the response, there wasn't the same amount of slaying that came through there for the University of Iowa, but they were collecting the points. They were getting those important kills that were always taking the opponents off of the flag and able to just kind of have that secured game for them. And we're gonna get ready for map number 4, which I believe will be Hackney Yard on hard point. So we're gonna get ready to throw that to a little bit of a break here, ladies and gentlemen, so we can set up that game. Make sure you guys do not go anywhere. You don't want to miss game number 4 of the last series on the night. Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to jump in towards our 4th match here on the night, as it was quite a very convincing kind of map number 3 that we got compared to the last 2. The very first one was pretty neck and neck. You know, it was 250 to 246 win there for University of Northern Iowa. Then they kind of ran away with the search and destroy, but a regain, you know, a reset coming through from the University of Iowa. And now they have that potential to kind of do that reverse sweep that comes through, but they have to go big in this Hackney Yard in this hard point.
Yeah, this is where you're going to go ahead and meet a lot of stamina. This is going to be the first time, I believe, all day that we are headed to a map 4 past map 3. This is going to be exciting regardless. Get to see these adaptations coming through. Which team is going to be able to push their stamina bar that much further? But I think you got to be able to take what we saw at the latter half of our first hardpoint on Gunrunner as we load into hardpoint on Hackney Yard here, Visions, is just how we saw the Hawkeyes able to find a better footing once they started meeting the aggression with their MP5s. Trading off their MP5s for the M4s were not the right idea, and you got to see that come through in full on Gunrunner Dom.
That's right. We did get to see that come through there full for us, as it was fairly consistent. Now we're seeing exactly how they're going to make the approach to the first hill. A lot of kills going down here for a slight lead for Iowa at the moment. Slee's trying to maybe fight for those spawns, and it looks like right now they are going to hold on to them. But while that happened, Northern Iowa did collect some time. Big plays from Dorno as he's been popping off so far this entire night. Still looking to get work done as he almost finds the third, but it's going to be cut down. Does manage to get him weak. Sleaze is going to go up top to try and watch over any members that might be trying to flood out to push through to the next hill. And that's going to be some shots going down. Almost able to take him off of that Van Head glitch, but was unsuccessful. Dorno and Splashy ends up collecting a few more, but the spawn's still very, very close. And this is the hill. So difficult to break. You need great utilization of smokes. You need some phenomenal teamwork when you're breaking a hill like this. And well, right now they're doing a great job of actually keeping the side of Northern Iowa pretty back and in the middle of the map here. So this is making it even more difficult to get any kind of room or even get close to this hill.
Yeah, these exit kills were very well timed. Not committing to try to go for the scrap time, as they were able to force spawns all the way back towards the side of the yellow building. It's just going to allow Hawkeyes to set up shop on top of this point. Like you said, it's going to be so hard to break this one. They already have a trophy system set up there. They have a good well spread over here. Lion did find Slingsta, but Dorno sliding back through with the M4 this time. It's going to be able to clean up Lion, and this might be the entry that Northern Iowa need. I say that so surprisingly because it was Northern Iowa back on Gunrunner Hardpoint that were always setting up these rotations and always seemed to be in the hardpoint about a good 10 seconds before it even flipped. However, these kills are starting to come through, lining them up the stairs. Will go down. However, the kill feed's still heavily in the favor of Northern Iowa, but not the points.
That's right. Ronaldo also dying with about 20 seconds left on that hill, kind of left about 10 points, not really up for grabs. That certainly would have went the way of University of Iowa. Now the cut kills can certainly come through from Dorno, as he's always in a great spot of finding some doubles that have happened so far on the night. He does manage to take down one. His teammates both grab a couple more, and now this is going to result in just a couple of members left on top green. The other ones are kind of coming through the back of warehouse, and Dorno finds another one as he's now on a 3-kill streak. Stunner also on 3 for himself with 42 seconds in the hill. He's just playing this player on the outside, just finding all of these members trying to run, and Stunner actually ends up finding himself 3 as he's in the hill collecting time on a 6 spree.
Yeah, that 6 spree will be put to rest, but that point's getting absolutely closer for a solid 30 seconds. Blur in control there. Although the scrap time was actually, I thought was going to go in the favor for University of Iowa, but then the kill feed, again, starting to line up in favor for Northern Iowa. Able to turn this back around. It's only at a 3 to 4 point deficit now. The flip will be coming through towards P4, which, well, you guessed it, is in the bottom office where Stunner's already hiding out. Players sliding past and through. Not quite yet, though. Stunner will not be taken out until the Semtax comes in from Z-Man. There's still multiple players in the bottom of the office. Fernaldo's going to start climbing on in, finds a player reloading. One more player behind the door, breaks the trophy system wisely so, but doesn't check the corner nor waits for the other member to come on through. Although cleaned up, this is still looking very good for Northern Iowa, taking control of the early rotations into the hard point. Z-Man trying to write a different story.
That's right, 30 seconds left, able to turn on to one. Slingstead looks like he had no more ammo left. Now a massive 1v1 about to break through, but the shots from Mello takes down one, make it 2 with the trophy, make it 3 as the last one challenges. It takes 4 to finally break the scrap time, but it does not look like they want to give it over very easily, as Splashy and Slingstead both grab a couple for themselves. The rotation now setting up in towards the back. A lot of yellow arrows already in formation and are ready for the attack and the push from Northern Iowa here, that are holding on to a nice little lead, just sitting out over about 20 points now, just about 25. Z-Man looks to push on through, and he is going to hold the hill as he breaks into the back and does take one who was sitting up top here. Crucial kill for him, flooding to the right. He finds another, can't find the third, but Dorno now up there waiting for his team to kind of push through with him to be able to lock down and secure some of these points. He's going to ripped off that second member off the head glitch somehow. I don't even know how he's doing it. Bubbling my words based off of how well this man is playing. He's already sitting on 18 kills right now here, Proper.
This is absolutely insane. I mean, you can take a look at Dorno coming back off of a 30 and 25 and a loss on our previous map of domination. You can see exactly where a lot of the power of the position is being taken away from University of Iowa, and they just can't seem to be dealing with all these MP5s on the flanks and these M4s just rushing them down in your face. It's so hard to deal with it. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face or shot, as it may be. Here in Modern Warfare, Slinksa going back for 2. We are about to be in a full rotation as far as hard points are concerned, as we already have University of Iowa taking a page out of Northern Iowa's book. Instead of trying to go for the scrap time, then favor the rotation to take coverage here in the next hard point. Back on P1, however, kills in the favor for University of Iowa. The control of the mid scoop being heavily in the favor for Slinksa for the time being, then cut down. Now, this is just still going back and forth so far, Visions. I say that, but Dorno, again, along with Stunner, are able to clean things up here on the inside of the hard point.
Yeah, keeping things locked down, but we know how important the hill is after this one, and there's already a setup intact for that push through when they do try to do it. They also set up perfectly last time. That's going to be a lot of kills in the feed there for that Slinksta as he grabs a couple. Stunner also able to grab himself one, and now with a lot of these kills going through, they are still spawning back left. There is a member trying to flood towards the hill, but he gets cut down. I believe that was right there from this man on your screen, as he's going to be locking down the initial points, but still such a close game. If you didn't see the game number 1, it was only won by 4 points by Northern Iowa. This one looks like it's on track for potentially a similar score for us here, as they're trying to break in towards the top hill, but it's still Iowa holding it down, trying to break in. Splashy and Slinksta able to get a few members and a few kills. The contention on the hill, but it's still held by Iowa for now.
University of Iowa keep on getting the good spawns. They're spawning out in the behind the tire shop where P2 currently is. The last time it rotated through P2 is where they started breaking past the lead. They do it yet again. We are about to be rotating over into the phone booth as we're down to scrap time here, Visions, but you can take a look at your mini-map. Northern Iowa are already committing 2 players towards the mid side. That's what Stunner is already going to go down from Z-Man. It's going to be now joined by Slinksta. You can be taking a look over top of this jump peak. Got 2 players in the hill now that's about to be for Northern Iowa, being climbed up, taken up on the high ground. Lion is going to be behind here, and that's a big kill on the Slinksta. A big angle going to be taken away. Can't be dealt with in the top L. That's going to be Sleaze. Mello right below them, but the kills coming through on top of the hill are still really good. Mello can't finish that kill. He's going to throw a nade and die for the cause.
Yeah, he dies for it, trying to fight over the hill time, as it's going to be in control at the moment for Northern Iowa. Lion has been locking down the spawns. That kill that Proper just talked about was crucial for them to have that close spawn here, as a few members going to be coming up top. Runs at him with the knife. His Stunner actually grabbing, I believe that might have been 3, and Slinksta also able to grab himself 1, but here come the kills back through for Iowa for the time being. Grabbing 1, but Mello able to connect on 2, and back in control with only 20 seconds left on this hill. Looks like it should go over towards Northern Iowa, as we're starting to see Slinksta able to get some shots going down for him. Z-Man's on the half wall, whether or not he should push through. Looks like he's going to have a good flank. Nice snap from him. Takes the first one down. There's a member close left, as he's going to wait. He looks like he hears him. Z-Man challenges out, gets away barely with his life. This fight's so very important. Is he going to be able to take him down? His teammate clears them up, and now it's going to be Iowa here pouncing on the hill first.
Yeah, it's Z-Man and Fernaldo, the 2 MP5s for University of Iowa, have been doing a great job of finding these kills, allowing franchise to approach on forward and find proper positioning to allow the rest of the team, the University of Iowa, to solidify themselves on the point. Spoken to 2, however, Dorno and Splashy have been doing just the same. Every time when you think University of Iowa are about to take a convincing hardpoint control, Northern Iowa are right there just to rip it away. 32 in 16 Visions. Dorno is going on an absolute rampage, holding the door, can't kill off Lion, who's going to start climbing up to the high ground on top of the smokestacks. We are in a contested point for 15 more seconds. Dorno now putting themselves on a 3 streak. We are on P4. It's about to rotate towards the backside onto P5. The kill's already coming through. That's going to help out the spawns soon after. I say that, but every player from University of Iowa is spawning on top of each other. They are flooding into this hard point, but they're losing the fight.
Yeah, they just lost 3. Lions up top, but he's been taken low. He somehow takes down a second. Dorno, and now that's going to be a third one dropping for 3. Lions staying alive here might be the difference maker at the end of this game, as he finally dies on a 4 streak. Z-Man still holding top. of this area. He's able to drop down, take down one, almost snaps on the second, but Slinksta is there for the trade. The points are being accumulated right now for Northern Iowa, but the push is about to come right back through here for the University of Iowa. 2 members push towards the right, and they will be able to bait and switch 1 member out. Now pushing down the back here, Lions up top. He comes back down, able to now start giving them a bit of a lead. And with 18 seconds left, it looks like this will give them that slight lead before we get the reset on the rotation.
Man, Lion has been finding these very impactful kills. Although they are only at 19 and 30, these impactful kills has been turning the spawns into the advantage that University of Iowa need. You see them already with those spawns flooding into the next hardpoint that's resetting inside the warehouse here, Visions. But again, losing the fight, Mello off the backhand of a 2-piece, joined in by Splashy. Although going down, Mello put in good work for Northern Iowa to march on forward, and Dorno, controlling bottom L, is only going to turn into another 2-piece for them, is now at 40 and 20.
Dorno doing it all. Northern Iowa, they want to end it right here on the night. They want to close it out in this map. Can anybody from the University of Iowa get in towards the hill? A few more seconds and it's done, and it's all purple in the feed. You thought Iowa might have had it for a second, but it did not follow through. Somehow, someway, Northern Iowa, they clutch up in the rotation going in towards this one. You see Dorno popping kills like it's nothing. It's just an absolute treat to be able to watch this man here on the night, and closing out the series 3-1 at the moment. University of Northern Iowa seem to be the superior team coming out of the state.
40 plus kills in the opening week of CCL in this Midwest matchup. I mean, you got to be looking at this player. I mean, that is just impressive beyond belief. Coming off of 30 and 25 from Gunrunner Domination, 8 and 4 Hackney Yard S&D. Although the first hardpoint relatively close, it is what Northern Iowa are able to do on the backhand of all of these kills, whether it be from Splashy, Mello, Dorno, Slinksta, Stunner. You can talk about every single one of them. They take that and they run with it as far as positional advantage. And they, even though University of Iowa kept on spawning on top of one another, the setups on both hardpoints plus the domination for Northern Iowa was absolutely a spectacle to see.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I think, you know, in a lot of those in those big plays that came through were people, you know, popping those 2 or 3 pieces on those rotation kills, and we saw it the whole night there from Dorno specifically, able to get it done so many times here. But yeah, Stunner, Slinksta, also contributing massively there to the success that they were able to pull through. But a lot of those respawns were fairly close between these teams. You know, that first map very likely could have went the way of the University of Iowa if they picked up any amount of that scrap time there on that hill that was, you know, defended for about 20 seconds there. Literally could have went either way. I think the search and destroy was maybe the only game mode that we got to see that was kind of convincing, which was a 6-1 closeout. But, you know, as much as the University of Iowa, they don't get themselves away with a win on the day, there's still a lot of great things they can kind of look at that they did. And, you know, with a few adjustments made, they could certainly look to be on par with this team that we just got to witness with a win.
Yeah, I mean, even just to push the point that much further, I mean, you go back and you take a look at Gunrunner Domination, that it was still very close, right? 213 to 190 in the favor for Iowa University, but it got really close the second that University of Iowa just over-aggressed and they tried to go for the triple cap, then got met later on when Northern Iowa started doing the same thing. It's those little things, those little errors that these teams are showcasing that any team in CCL are going to be able to punish. And when you take a look at this entire division in Midwest, you do have, a pretty strong team that you have to be pretty scared of. You got Concord Maroon in this entire division, and that's a juggernaut within its own self. And you can't be showing these weaknesses, especially against those juggernaut-esque teams. And you want to clean those up sooner rather than later. That's a good thing to scout these out, at least in week 1.
Absolutely. Definitely want to clean some things out, and they have the feed to go back through if they do want to try and sharpen up on some of those mistakes. But either way, that is going to do it here for the last match on the night. 3-1 win came through for the University of Northern Iowa. Of course, my name Vision joined with Prosper, closing out the cast for you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're not already following the stream, make sure you hit that follow button there, as well as if you're feeling generous, hit that subscribe button so you can get all the perks that do come with subscribing. If you want to stay updated for when college COD is going live, then make sure you are following on Twitter at College COD. That is the best place to get updates for when we are posting out anything related to the league. But again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you guys when we're live next tomorrow.